My name is Roland G. My background has been in retail all my life. My last full-time work was with Mossbros Group, running that company for 13 years. And while I was there, I developed the Hugo Boss retail business in the UK up to 17 stores. These days, I do a lot of work with small and emerging companies, and I was contacted by Prince's Trust, who said they were very interested in encouraging young entrepreneurs, people who wanted to get into the fashion industry, because they realized that the retail industry that employs more than 3 million people is a very important industry in the UK. And many of those small businesses are run by people who started up from nowhere. So they asked me to go and do a talk at Pentonville Prison to people who are coming out in 3 or 4 months' time about the attractions of the retail industry and actually how easy it is to get into it. Because these days so many people start off selling online. They create products and so on, and the Prince's Trust has a domain where people can exhibit their work. Anyway, I turned up at Pentonville, and I was one of 2 speakers. The first speaker was a guy called L.J. Flanders, and I heard his story, which to me was amazing, actually. I mean, here was a young guy who got into trouble, but didn't waste a second of his time while he was inside. He developed a training program, which he called Cell Workout. And when he got out, he self-published, and very soon after, Hodder and Stoughton, the world-famous publisher, picked up his story and published his book, which is now published in many countries worldwide. The thing that appealed to me was that this guy had an authenticity, and I felt that he was a brand. He could be a brand. And so with my understanding of the industry, retail clothing industry, I realized what a big segment athleisure clothing is for both men and women. So after the talk, I went up to LJ. I said, "Hey LJ, why don't we begin to develop an athleisure collection?" Well, like all good decision makers, he said yes immediately. So I said, right, okay, let's take this in careful, steady stages. So I said, okay, what we're going to do first is go to Graduate Fashion Week, held in London every year, which exhibits all the work from Britain's finest fashion schools. And there's about 30 schools in the UK, and frankly, they're probably the best schools in the world. People like Armani, Dolce & Gabbana, Versace, they all go there and snap up the finest designers. So we went a few months after we first met, and we decided to run a competition. And we approached 6 or 7 schools that we thought had the best talents. We said what we wanted to do. We said we want to build a collection for men and women using Cell Workout as the brand. So we went round and we saw one particular designer at one school, and as we were halfway through a conversation, and she got a phone call, and she said, "I'm terribly sorry, I've just got a job given to me by Dolce & Gabbana." So we thought, okay, we'll press on, and we went round. And finally we saw somebody from Plymouth School of Art who really was very impressive. We invited all these 6 designers that we selected to pitch. The winning pitch came from somebody called Carter, who was studying at Plymouth School of Art. Now, she was outstanding. She got the brief brilliantly and has produced the most amazing, unusual collection of athleisure clothing for both men and women. So the next stage was to look at the collection that she had designed and decide whether we wanted to produce it ourselves or take it to some of the world's leading brands, people like ASOS and so on, who might be very interested in producing a collection under this authentic person, L.J. Flanders. Unusual, actually, for brands today to have a real person behind them. So many names are invented and so on. So I thought this was not only a good story from a production and marketing point of view, but a great story because there was a real person who was still giving back to the MOJ, the Ministry of Justice. And when I say giving back, LJ to this day goes around prisons. He works on fitness programs. He gives fitness workshops. He has family days, which I've attended. And it is an amazing piece of work because, you know, of the 90,000 prisoners in the UK, 60,000 go to regular fitness events, and that's a pretty big percentage. So they realize the importance of fitness. During our conversations at the MOJ, we talked about the workshops that are available in the prisons in the UK. And I visited with LJ several of the workshops and was frankly knocked out by the quality of the places, the advice and the guidance given by professional people in the fashion industry, and the enthusiasm that these young boys and girls have to produce garments, to print garments. The production we visited in Downview, the printing is very much in Featherstone with excellent printing facilities too. So the MOJ, I said, look, why don't we start off by making some garments actually in the prisons, and let's see how that can kickstart the whole project. So here I am today, sitting in the fabric shop and noticing how enthusiastic the girls are in this particular place. The pledge that we have made is to make garments in HMP. This is a very important part of this process. So not only are we going to make garments here, we're going to print garments here. And the printing facilities in Featherstone are top drawer. They even have a sleeve printing curved machine, which is unusual actually, and I'm very impressed. So my objective is to help LJ produce a collection inside the prisons and then gradually move it out into the market as a whole, which has a great hunger and need for a brand like Cell Workout.